Welcome to Reddit Blue Pill Red Pill, where we go over Reddit stories and predict the outcome of the stories. Please listen and play along by typing in your choices into the comments. Today we have a story about a wife having a disagreement with her husband over not responding back quickly enough. All right, let's get on to the story.
This just happened. I'm still fuming, but I need to know if I was in the wrong for calling him that. I was working out in our basement home gym, in the middle of a heavy set doing legs. My husband called out to me from the top of the stairs. I told him, "Hang on," so I could finish the set. He kept calling me. Again, I said, "1 sec." When I finished and made my way back upstairs, no more than 30 seconds later from when he first called out to me, he was just annoyed and angry with me because I was apparently ignoring him.
The OP writes that she was in the middle of a heavy set while exercising her legs. For those who don't work out like this, legs are usually the heaviest sets most people do, since legs can take heavier weights. You will be pushing yourself very hard during such exercises, so it makes sense the OP didn't have much breath left to respond back to her husband. However, her husband didn't know this, so it makes sense why he would be a little annoyed, especially since he asked her at least twice, and from his point of view, it seemed like she was purposely ignoring him. If you think the husband had a right to feel ignored based on what he noticed, type Q1 blue in the comments. If you think he shouldn't have gotten annoyed at all in this situation, then type Q1 red.
So I explained to him that I was in the middle of a heavy set, so I couldn't speak right away, but I did respond, "Hang on." He kept brushing me off and ignoring me, so I told him normally when someone is working out, you wait until they're done the set to talk to them. His response to that was to be dismissive, as if that wasn't really a thing, and was mocking me. My husband does not work out, so I didn't expect him to know this. So after he was talking to me like I was stupid, I just had enough and said, "Seriously? You're mad at me because you were talking to me while I was lifting a heavy set? You're being an effing a-hole." He obviously didn't appreciate that and blew up. Now he's left the house and I'm pretty annoyed still. He was being one. That's how I felt, so I called him it. Am I wrong?
The OP wrote that her husband was mocking her, but was she unknowingly mocking him first? She said since he doesn't work out himself, then he wouldn't know the rule about not talking to others in the middle of a set, and that when people are lifting hard, it's hard for them to speak. She could have been explaining herself in a condescending way, which may be why her husband reacted in the way he did. But I'm just speculating here. Also, is it fair of her to expect her husband to know these unwritten rules, or even to expect others to follow these rules outside the gym? Plus, she straight up called him an a-hole to his face. What do you think? If you side with the OP here, type Q2 blue in the comments. If you side with her husband, type Q2 red.
Last edit. We talked when he got home. I apologized for saying he was an effing a-hole. I asked him what happened before it got to that. Why was he so angry before I even got upstairs? He said it was upset because when he shouted my name at the top of the stairs, he was expecting a yes or a what. I told him I already said hang on and 1 sec. He did not want to hang on though. He wanted me to respond immediately so that he could ask me if I had fed the dogs yet. I told him I thought I was being reasonable and respectful and that I wanted to finish my set first so I could make my way upstairs to give him my attention. This is very much unlike him. Usually he'd just walk downstairs if he called me and I didn't respond. We've both apologized. Things are still a little tense, so we're just going to chill out separately around the house until we're both completely cooled down.
Even with knowing this extra info, things still don't make sense. It seems her husband was in a hurry to get a response. In the end, what he wanted to know was if the OP had already fed the dogs. Some dog food come in cans, so maybe he needed to know before he opened any of the cans. But that still wouldn't justify his response, would it? I guess it can be a little annoying to leave something mid-action, but that alone shouldn't have escalated things that bad. The OP says it is uncharacteristic of her husband to act like that, so it seems the major issue became the fact that she called him an a-hole. Did the actions her husband take justify that direct insult? Type Q3 blue in the comments if you feel the OP shouldn't have insulted her husband in such a nasty way, or if you feel her husband earned that insult with his actions. Type Q3 red. In the Reddit messages, the author gave additional information.
Did he know you didn't have headphones in today? Because if not, what an odd thing for him to know you usually wear headphones and to call out to you today, expecting you to suddenly be able to hear over your headphones.
I honestly don't know. It was all very bizarre. Usually, if he tries shouting first and I don't respond, he'll come down. And even when he's speaking to me while working out, it's always in between reps that I respond to him in very short answers. I'll admit telling him he was an a-hole wasn't my best, but I didn't appreciate how dismissive he was about it all when I was calmly just explaining why I didn't come up right away.
Now let's listen to a few comments.
This has nothing to do with working out. If I call my wife and she says, "just a second," I assume she's in the middle of something. If it's an emergency and I really can't wait, I will reply with, "the kitchen's on fire," or "so much blood," or something. But if I don't say that, I would expect her to finish up what she's doing and then come over.
Not the a-hole. Sets or no sets, hang on a minute means you heard him, but you're in the middle of something. Tell him you're not his mommy who drops everything when he whines.
Hey, I'm a mommy, and I definitely don't drop everything when my kids whine. Otherwise, how will I teach them to be patient adults? Unlike this husband's parents, who apparently treated him like a royal prince with a castle full of subservient cows.
Not the a-hole. If it was urgent or super important, he could have gone all the way down into the basement to talk to her, instead of yelling for her at the top of the stairs and expecting her to literally drop what she's doing and attend to him.
He was acting like an a-hole. Does he bring joy and love and great sex into your life? Does he always interrupt your activities to pout like a neglected child? Why are you married to him?
Not the a-hole. If you had been in the middle of shitting, would he have expected you to run up there with poop hanging off your ass? Just a minute means, I heard you, but I'm in the middle of something, so if it's not an emergency, I'm going to finish this first. It's not a niche thing or limited to lifting. He was being an a-hole about you not showing up immediately, mocking you, and just generally being childish. I think calling him an a-hole when he's being one is fairly justified. But that's only this scenario. His reaction is way over the top and there is clearly something else going on, and you should probably find out what it is since he's apparently not going to be an adult about it.
Everyone sucks here. Calling your life partner what you did, even when deserved, is not something you should do in a healthy relationship. But neither is the self-centered and juvenile actions of your husband that led to the altercation in the first place.
Not the a-hole. Your husband needs to grow up. He can get the F up, come into the room, see you're in the middle of something, and be like, "Oh, you're busy? I'll wait a second." But no, he chose to act like a child. Honestly, I'd give him the same treatment, just be petty. Like, talk to him like he's a child. Then I'd divorce because that alone is enough to turn me off from him for life. I can't marry someone who talks to me like that. P.S. People saying you are the a-hole or both, he's the one who started being disrespectful. Like, why is that all right for him to talk to you like you're stupid and be disrespectful and dismissive, but you have to hold it in, can't talk back, and have to be nice? Nah. He was being an a-hole and kept acting like an a-hole even after you tried to explain to him gym etiquette. Your anger was justified. I wouldn't regret a single word I would have said in that interaction.
You escalated some. Obviously, some underlying problems with communication here. If you're genuinely happy together, I'd advise you to sit down and have a discussion about communication and maybe set some guidelines. If he doesn't understand, then be escalation and communicate until he does. But sometimes it's best to cool down before really engaging.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end and participating.
Please consider liking and subscribing to watch future videos. Goodbye.